Hello everyone and welcome back to another Batman miniature game, 3rd edition battle report for the channel, and today we have a 350 rep Batman crew featuring Aaron Cash and his quick response team versus 350 rep of Organised Crime featuring Killer Croc just because it's thematic. Aaron Cash wants his hand back. On the table layout you can see before you. So we'll talk a little bit about the new models on the table, what upgrades each side have, and then get things underway. So we have 7 miniatures in the Batman crew this time, being led by Batman Year 1 with the morality and upgraded Batsuit. Upgrades, he picks another person to be the boss, because he is hidden so you can start basically anywhere. He'll be picking Aaron Cash, who is the one with the claw there, and his quick response team. The one with the shotgun on the far left there is QRT-1, and then QRT-2 with a carbine, and then QRT-3 with a... is it double blood single stun or double stun single blood? Either way, it's a pretty good rifle. They're also bringing along Larita, who just looks tiny compared to the scale creep in 3rd edition, but hey, Larita's gun is still really good. So Larita is here. Other upgrades wise, Larita has SWAT team training, so they have tracking and precise aim, so help make that gun even more deadly. QRT-2 has antidote just because there was 50 funding left over. It's not going to be relevant for this, and that is it. And this is the Intel support, Alfred. So they're basically, I think they're upgraded versions of 1st edition minis. Spiritually they feel a lot like the old Arkham Guards. The one with the riot shotgun, one with the pretty nasty blood gun, and then you also have a sniper thrown in. So they're a bit similar to that. They have a lot of generic cop rules, and we'll hopefully see what they do on the table, unless they suffer from new model syndrome and inevitably just get blasted off the table. Because the theme of this one is there's actually, on both sides, a lot of firepower. Like, a lot of funding just went to all the guns models are bringing. Not very Batman-like, but there's going to be some shooting. And here is our Organised Crime being led by Carmine Falcone, the old version, which has not been made eternal still. It's still illegal to use him, legal rather. The Holiday Killer, aka Alberto Falcone, is his sidekick there. We have the Mafia, what's he called? Mafia Thug from the Batman themed starter set, coming along as like the newest edition along with the Arkham Asylum version of Killer Croc. Seen him a couple of times already, he's very good. Then some old classic villains, Iceman with his very, very dangerous gun, Vipera, Silence Pistol, and doing his best Agent 47 impersonation, we have Showtime. And there is literally 0 upgrades because of all their guns. Because even though he has a modelled one, he also has a gun. And so does Alberto. So they've basically all got guns except Falcone and Killer Croc. The Batman crew also mostly has guns. Batman and Alfred are the only ones who don't there. So this is going to be different, I think, to how the usual battle reports go, just because both sides are so deadly at long range. Or medium to long range, let's say. So we're going to see how it goes. We'll get deployed and be back to cover what cards are in Phase 1, Phase 2 played. Alright, we are all set up and good to go. Organised Crime are to your left, and we'll be taking first activation. That might continue for the rest of the game if Falcone's still on the table, because he has a Grand Strategist, so he's +2 to the roll. Batman crew on your right, although there's a lot of out of deployment placement for both sides. Let's cover the cards in play first though. The Batman crew is just playing their Die Hard, and because Year 1 Batman has to select another character to be the boss, and it does say boss, I believe this can be played on him, because Aaron Cash is the boss now. So this is on Batman, and we'll show where he is in a second. Hopefully that was at least in focus for a little bit of it. The camera is struggling this morning apparently. There we go. And for Organised Crime, the Dawn is being played. Carmine Falcone's unique card. The friendly boss is within 6 inches of the enemy boss. Now, that's just basically protection against Batman. Because Batman has hidden, so he can basically deploy anywhere, especially with such a tall building on the table. So this means that if Batman goes in to try and knock out Falcone, he's going to give Organised Crime 3 points. So that's why this is being played now. It's a good deterrent. It might become true in some other way. It has to be true at the end of the round for it to score. So, a little bit of insurance there. Other than that, we can cover. Alfred is down here. He's in the open, but he's not actually on the table, so it doesn't really matter. QRT-3 with Audacity is there. Aaron Cash with Audacity is there next to Larita, who has one as well. And then the other 2 QRTs are there. Batman has hidden and has opted to deploy up on the building here, and also has Audacity. For Organised Crime, Falcone is down here next to Iceman and Showtime. Yep, Showtime. We have Vipera, who has Undercover, deployed up there with Audacity. Killer Croc starts in base-to-base with a sewer marker. It's also 1 extra sewer marker on the table, thanks to him being here. He has Audacity. Alberto is here with Audacity. He has hidden but opted not to go up any further. Not that there isn't really much cover to hide behind. The Mafia Thug also does. Actually, does he have undercover? Yeah, he has undercover. So he can deploy up to 8 outside. He has Audacity as well. And again, there's so many dangerous guns on each side. The no man's land between deployment zones both being kind of open means that this is going to be a very bloody affair. And on that note, let's jump into Battle Round 1. Showtime got the game started, starting next to his boss for that free inspired manipulate, but no Audacity marker. He moved up behind the cop car over there and has put down a suspect marker, doing nothing else with his turn. Alfred activated first for the Batman crew, or rather his model representing just where he's looking on the back computer, I guess. Activated, and didn't have Audacity but does have a built-in radio, so always counts as inspired. He moved up to the corner of the table here and has put down a suspect marker, nothing else played. Well, the Roman himself activated Carmine Falcone. Didn't have Audacity though, which is a little rare for a leader miniature at the start of the game, but he moved up into base to base with the suspect marker that was put down there and is doing nothing else because of no Audacity. He is still within 8 of Iceman there though, I think, to give him an inspire. Worth pointing out, just in case you aren't familiar, the Roman, he has a rule which gives all friendly henchmen the For the Family rule. It's basically just any henchman that's within 4 of him can take a hit for him. So as long as he's around his henchman, he is safe. So the new de facto leader of the Batman crew, Aaron Cash, activated and moved up to the corner there. So he's still got cover from some of the organised crime guns, but he could see Killer Croc. However, before he did anything else, he did use his special action to coordinate. So he picks a model he shares a keyword with, SWAT or cop, either way. He picked QRT2 and made him do a move action just to move him along there so he can see right down the street. I believe he's outside of Killer Croc's threat range. So on that note, Killer Croc, Aaron Cash has a double blood single stun riot shotgun, and it has assault, so you can move and still fire at a full rate of fire, but you have -1 to his rolls. He got both of them through. I guess we'll have to come around the other end of the table to see this a bit better now. So that is 4 blood, 2 stun. However, Killer Croc is huge, so that 2 stun gets utterly ignored. 4 blood though goes through. Oh, Killer Croc then proceeded to vanish, making use of Sewer Retreat after an attack against him is resolved, as long as it doesn't result in him being murdered or knocked out. If there's a sewer marker within 2 or 4, I've forgotten now offhand, he jumps into it for free and pops out elsewhere. So if we come around the other side of the table here, he has decided to pop out right there. Danger close. Well, we're staying down here because Killer Croc decided to spring into action, suffering impaired movement to jump over the truck there. And that didn't leave him much movement, but he has range or reach 2 on his attacks. So he could still attack the poor QRT3 sniper here, who has suffered from new model syndrome. Killer Croc efforted twice. He's doing blood stun, rolling 2 strength dice, and he has crushing. So unfortunately, even though she rolled 3 6s for her defense roll, you need 2 successes to block 1 successful hit, and he threw in 2 extra. So all that said and done, 5 blood, 5 stun. She is a 5/5 model, so he killed her both ways in 1 hit, and she is out of there, which means that Organised Crime has scored a simple message job for taking the enemy out of play by making them a casualty. Oh, and just as a matter of note to get it on camera, Killer Croc is a cannibal. So because he killed someone, he heals 2 damage. He's going to opt to heal the 2 blood of his 4 he has. And he does have regeneration as well, so as long as he's alive at the end of a turn, he'll heal 1 more. Now there is a very good chance that some guns might be brought to bear on him, so he might not live till the end of a turn. He's got 14 endurance in total though, so there's an outside shot he'll live. QRT2 that activated earlier in the turn via coordination from Aaron Cash, activated properly now, no Audacity. He actually wasn't within 8 of Cash, but he has a built-in radio, so he used his manipulate from having that radio there to put down a suspect marker underneath the billboard there, doing nothing else with his turn. He is in danger of getting shot. I did forget to mention, but every QRT has a bulletproof vest. So does Cash and so does Larita. So only Batman and, well, Alfred technically, they don't have bulletproof vests, but everybody else does. Alberto Falcone, aka Holiday, activated, came around the corner and has put down a suspect marker, not doing anything else with his turn. He is moving with relative safety now because Killer Croc is definitely going to be the bullet sponge over that end of the table. Well, now that 1 cop has already died, it was probably time for Batman to spring into action, so he used his cape to glide down the building, and he went after Vipera, who had not activated yet. He has 12 inches, going to give him more than enough to get into position there. He has Master of Stealth, so he's also relatively safe from reprisal. He's outside of 4 of the light there, so it means you have to be within 6 to even see him. He doesn't have armor or anything like that though, and either way he has sneak attack, so Vipera couldn't do any efforts. He opted not to. The effort you see there is for him to use his Vigilante's work and also using his detective trait, so he can interact with a suspect marker within 3. That card is not going to stay still, to remove the one that was there, and in doing so scored a comb through everything. That's the Batman crew on the board there. Their starting hand was not that great. He attacked him, reinforced gloves, double stun. His attack roll was actually pretty bad, but lucky for him, Organised Crime's henchmen fold like paper. Vipera is a defense 2 4/4 mini, so Vipera is knocked out and potentially is there to be arrested going forwards. So Batman did nothing else with his turn. I don't think there was a special action this Batman could do. Oh wait, Vigilante's work is a special action, isn't it? No, it isn't. But the only other one he has is Bat Beacon, and he doesn't want to use that yet. So before we go to Organised Crime's next activation, off the back of Batman using Vigilante's work there to remove a suspect marker, he actually met the criteria for the program being played when an enemy model reveals a suspect marker, which he did. Oh, it's not in focus. There we go, hopefully. Mark it in some way. When he's removed as a casualty, score this card. So this is just in play, and if at any point Batman goes down, it will score for 2. So it was the Mafia Thug who activated. He moved his 8 into base to base with the sewer marker over here, and just put down a suspect marker. Didn't do anything else with his turn. Lorita was up next for the Batman crew, and she had a large problem to deal with. She moved over here and unloaded her double blood assault rifle into Killer Croc. She moved, but she does have assault on it, and a red dot for a reroll, and she has expert marksman for the +1, so it basically negates the assault penalty. She shot into Killer Croc and did 6 blood, however it has all been converted into stun via non-lethal ammo to score for 2, and as a result of being stun damage, 2 of that is ignored because he's huge, so only 4 gets through. With the 2 left on him, that puts him at 6. He's actually 1 away from being knocked out. Still nowhere near dying obviously, but very close to being knocked out. So thanks to Vipera getting knocked unconscious by Batman, Organised Crime only had 1 activation left. It was Iceman, no Audacity, but still within 8 of where Falcone ended up. So he activated, used that Manipulate from the Inspire to put down a suspect marker there. It is outside of 4 of that one, and it is outside of the 2 beyond the deployment zone. Worth mentioning though, obviously Batman is in a position where the Dawn is going to score. A little bit of hubris there on the part of the Batman side, because the Organised Crime objective deck is so terrible. The plan is giving away 3 early isn't going to matter in the long run. We'll see if that is actually hubris at the end, I suppose. But for now, I think there is one more QRT to activate for the end of round 1. So QRT 1 activate, he was at the back of the building here, quite close to Cash there. No Audacity of his own, so he can't move and shoot to try and knock out Killer Croc, which would have been real handy. Instead, he moved up to the corner of the building here and has put down a suspect marker. He's not doing anything else, and thanks to QRT 3 being also murdered in this turn, that actually does take us to the end of the round there. So we'll see if there's any phase 4s being played, and then also cover the cards in play already. So at the end of battle round 1, Vipera is not waking up, probably surprising no one. He is a 4/4 miniature, so it's very hard for him to wake up. So he's eating dirt for another turn. And scoring wise, there's 1 additional card being put into play, and it is Secure the Perimeter from the Batman crew. Remove 2 friendly suspect markers that are within 2 inches of the gaming edge. And I think that's not in focus still. This is one of those days with the camera, huh? Hopefully that's in focus now there. So the suspect marker that Alfred put down and the suspect marker that QRT2 put down, they're both being removed in order to meet the scoring criteria for that. The Die Hard they had in play also scores because Batman was fine, and presumably it can be played on Batman because he's not the boss. It is Cash. The Dawn scores for Organised Crime because Batman is within 6 of Falcone, the Roman. So again, hubris, we'll see if that bites them in the end. The program stays in play, that's just a price on Batman's head for the entire game. And I think that covers everything. Killer Croc is regenerating 1 blood. Actually, he might do a stun instead, because you can pick with regeneration, I think. But either way, we'll see. He's definitely healing 1 additional damage of some type beyond just the normal 1 stun damage. And then that'll take us into round 2, probably with Organised Crime going first, but we'll see in a second. So here we are at the top of round 2, phase 1 and phase 2 of the turn done, and sure enough, yes, Organised Crime took first activation thanks to the Roman. There is 1 card being put into play. It's buying Organised Crime. It's a phase 2, and it is Recovering the Juice, which is hopefully able to be seen more or less. Target a friendly model, not the boss. They reveal an enemy suspect marker, and they survive the turn, essentially, if they're still on the gaming table. So if they're not dead, being knocked out would still count. It's being played on the Mafia Thug, right there, because he is within spitting distance of removing a suspect marker. So that'll score for a massive 3 if they get it. The program stays in play, nothing being put into play by the Batman crew. The Mafia Thug has Audacity, so does Alberto, so does Iceman, and so does Killer Croc. So I think everyone else is just kind of accepting that Batman's going to beat them up every turn. Speaking of which, Batman has Audacity, QRT1 does, Cash does, and so does QRT2. Larida's also potentially accepting her fate, because with Organised Crime going first, I think one of those two are about to die. Yep, so sure enough, Killer Croc activated and went after Larida, getting into base to base with her so that she would have to get away to fire her gun, because it doesn't have the light rule. And didn't do as well with his rolls this time, to be honest. Only did 3 blood, 3 stun. She's a 5/5 miniature, so she is very much alive, but her turn, at least for this round, is pretty neutered. Batman was first up for his crew this round, however, did forget to remove the suspect markers from Secure the Perimeter at the end of turn, so that means Mafia Thug is not within spitting distance of a suspect marker, because that one shouldn't have been there, so recovering the juice is actually going to be a lot harder to score this turn for them. Anyway, Batman activated. He dashed his 12 inches to try and get to Iceman. He couldn't quite manage it, so he had to throw batarangs, but luckily 2 of them got through. He's a 4/4 miniature, so Iceman got knocked out, denied an Audacity marker, denied a turn, and he did score a cheeky 1 point with just a quick "they won't see me coming." The camera will also not see this card. It's just one of those days, apparently. Good grief, it's not usually this bad. There we go. Inflict damage on an enemy model that did not have line of sight to the attacker, and he didn't because the boulder and trees and such blocked the back end of the car where he was when he started his activation. So he is still liable to get shot in the back by a silence weapon, but he doesn't have acrobat, he doesn't have bat armor anyway, so he may as well try and take out the scarier gun. Off the back of Iceman getting knocked out, Organised Crime is actually putting into play during Batman's turn a pinched mobster, so he put an event marker in play with a friendly that has been attacked, and any model can manipulate it to move it 4 inches, and when it's in deployment zone for Organised Crime it will score. Now that all happens so close to their deployment zone, you can actually just instantly cover Organised Crime's turn, because Alberto is just going to walk around the corner and manipulate that. As much as he would love to shoot Batman, especially because he gets bonuses against people worth 50 rep or more, he's just going to manipulate that marker to move it 4, which is within their deployment zone. So that is actually just going to instantly score during his turn, but it's using up his movement and tactical action. QRT2 activated, and he had Audacity this time, but also still had that radio, so he had an Inspired Manipulate that he used to put down a suspect marker after moving up slightly. It gave him line of sight, so he could fire his 5-shot single blood assault carbine, and he shot at Showtime. His roll wasn't that great, again -1 because of the assault, but he was rolling all the dice. Still, only 2 shots got through for 2 blood of the 4 health he had. Now, during his turn, he spent a resource point to play following the clues. As a resource play, move 2 enemy suspect markers 2d6 directly towards a friendly model with the detective trait, ignoring the normal minimum distance between suspect markers. The only detective on the table is Batman, because Cash is just a cop, so are the rest of them. SWAT team, but still just cops. So the one next to Showtime, that was just to get out of hand more so than anything else, not anything strategic. The one next to Iceman, rather, got moved into base to base with him, and the one over there just got moved there. Again, it was mostly just to get out of hand, to cycle the deck a little bit. The Mafia Thug activated and made use of his built-in backpack to do a reveal action on a friendly suspect marker to turn it into loot, which he then picked up and walked off with, all the way up here, and then using his actual tactical action, he cracked out his shotgun that has assault on it to blast QRT1 in the face with it. He's got bulletproof vest, so it was only 1 die, and it did get through though, for 2 blood, 1 stun, and I think all the QRTs are 5/5 miniatures. Aaron Cash activated, moved up his 8 inches here, put down a suspect marker with his own tactical action, then as a special action used coordination to shout to QRT1, "Hey, you didn't quite finish off that guy, can you please shoot him again?" He said, "Yes sir," and shot Showtime for 4 blood. He only needed to do 2, so Showtime is closing time. Now, didn't score any cards on it though. Well, we're already to the last activation of the round for Organised Crime, and it's the Roman, and he didn't have Audacity, and he's off on his own more or less over there with Viperia being knocked out, so it's getting pretty dangerous over there. So all he did was move his 8 inches over here, Following Batman, which also isn't really a good idea, but at least there's two of his friends over there for cover in round 3. But yeah, he didn't do much with his turn, and thanks to knockouts of Iceman and Showtime getting killed before activating, that's them done. So Alfred still gets to go for the Batman crew, and so does QRT1, I think. So there was actually still 3 activations for the Batman crew, because Lorita hadn't activated, but all she did was pull away from Killer Croc, making him work for his kill. QRT1, he was going to go and try and knock out Killer Croc, but he doesn't have assault on his riot gun, so at best he could do 2 stun, which he would not do anything because it would be ignored by Huge. So instead he went after the Mafia Thug, moving down here, rolled his 1 die against the Mafia Thug, which is hard to say over and over, Mafia Thug, and didn't get him. So nothing there to him, and then finally Alfred just skirted his way up the edge of the board and put down another suspect marker. And that takes us to scoring and recuperating and whatnot for Battle Round 2. So then the Battle Round 2, both unconscious henchmen for Organised Crime are not waking up, so Vipera and Iceman. No activations for them in Round 3 either. There's no additional cards being put into play by Organised Crime. The recovering the juice that's in play for them did not score because the Mafia Thug did not reveal a enemy suspect marker rather. So nothing scored there. The valuable commodities that he put into play though stays in play. He's holding the loot. The program still stays in play with Batman marked for death. And oh, we're already up. There's a siren outside. The Batman crew put into play another secure the perimeter. So the suspect marker that Alfred put down, which is going to get removed now, so it's not forgotten, and the one that QRT2 put down on the other end of the table around there is being removed for that to score for 2. And with that, into the penultimate round. So here we are at the top of Battle Round 3, Phase 1 and Phase 2 done. The 4 surviving conscious members of Organised Crime all have Audacity for them. For the Batman crew it is Batman, Cash, QRT 1 and 2. Alfred doesn't need it because he's got a radio, and Lorita is probably going to be dead. So there is one Phase 2 card being put into play by Organised Crime. It's recovering the juice, except this time it's going to be played on Alberto Falcone down right there. Not a super high chance of it scoring, but if it does, it's a massive 3. So with that, yeah, we're ready to jump straight in, and once again, Organised Crime is going first. It was a simple enough activation for Killer Croc this turn to finish where he started last turn. Moved into base to base with Lorita, attacked her, no efforts on either side. 4 hits got through, which alone is enough to kill her with the 4 blood, 4 stun sitting there. But he actually also critted, so his bleed 2 would have procced for 2 more. So yes, that would have killed her outright if she was on full health. He's actually scoring a dirty job on that, making enemy model suffer KO or get killed. So cheap, cheerful, 1 point. In an effort to take out the Mafia Thug, make him drop the loot and then arrest him, QRT1 activated, unloaded the riot shotgun into him, almost whiffed entirely. 1 hit got through for 2 stun, which isn't great. So then he retreated over to where the action is happening over here. He might end up getting shot in the back, I guess we'll see. Well, being a little short on activations, Organised Crime could have passed, but they didn't. Alberto activated, moved around here to try and take advantage of QRT1 moving down here, and tried to kill him with his silenced assault, blood stun pistol, but unfortunately with that bulletproof vest the strength die was away, so only 2 hits got through for 2 blood, 2 stun. He had 2 blood on him I think, or 1 blood on him. Either way he's still alive because it's a 5/5 mini. Batman activated and decided it was time to go teach the Roman a lesson, although it didn't really work out that way. He first of all used Vigilante's work, so he efforted in order to remove the suspect marker that was there and scored Confusion for revealing an enemy suspect marker within 8 of their deployment zone, which that certainly is. He then attacked the Roman, only defense 3 on the Roman, and he didn't have anyone to pass wounds off on. It was just his attack roll was rubbish and he didn't effort to add in any more. So just the strength I got through, the rest were blocked. That was a 566 block on the Roman, and earlier on the QRT sniper had a 666 defense roll. So 2 stun, he's got 6 stun left, still got 7 health, and he can still activate, and I think it is actually over to him or the Mafia Thug now, yeah, unless they decide to pass, of course. Well, Falcone did activate, but he activated mostly just to get away from potentially getting shot by Cash and or QRT2. I was going to say twice, but I think he only has 1 round of ammo left, so coordination wouldn't be any good. So he just moved, and he's too close to an allied suspect marker to put down one of his own, so he's just doing nothing. The other Falcone, the one that's themed around the Batman, is definitely better than this one. Alfred activated and continued his old man stroll up the edge of the table, putting down yet another suspect marker using his radio, except this time it is a snitch. Finally managed to draw one into hand. So a snitch has been put down, with the Mafia Thug being the last one to activate for organised crime. It's definitely going to score for the 3. So the Mafia Thug did activate, hid behind the building partially there, unloaded the last of his ammo from his shotgun with assault into the back of QRT1. It was only one die needing a 4+, so 50-50 chance to kill him. Came up trumps and got him for 2 blood, 1 stun. So he is out of there, scoring another simple 1-pointer just for getting a kill, which is fair enough. So to take us to the end of the penultimate round, there was just 2 cops left to activate. Aaron Cash did a very uncop-like thing, moved into base-to-base with Vipera, doesn't have a rest, so he just took out his blood stun hook hand and went to town on them on the floor. And, well, he was actually the second one to activate, just to be clear, but I'm just covering that first because the damage is there. Murdered Vipera in cold blood, no witnesses. QRT2 moved even closer into the corner there. You'll notice there's a 1 counter next to him. It actually started as a 2. It ticked down to 1 after Aaron Cash's activation, and that is for wait for backup. So after the first activation of round 4, this will score for 2, because, oh actually no, Killer Croc could get to him via the sewer actually, so there's a chance this won't score if organised crime go first next round. So that's interesting. Yeah, that isn't necessarily definitely going to score. But that does take us to the end of round 3, so on to the scoring. So the end of battle round 3, Iceman is not waking up, so his game is done. Vipera obviously just got removed. So we're just into scoring. The recovering the juice in play does nothing. Roberto did not, or Alberto rather. I've been calling him Roberto, the knife wielding robot from Futurama. Either way, recovering the juice, nope, does not score. The snitch in play, thanks to Alfred, that does score. So that is a 3-pointer on the board for the Batman crew. It's been a little bit of a small card scoring, although both sides have scored at least 1 card worth 3. So I feel like it's pretty even, both sides not doing super well. But either way, into the final turn. Dawn of the final day, top of battle round 4, and amazingly the Batman crew is actually taking first activation with a roll of 6-1. So that means no matter who activates, it's going to be a cop. As it turns out, Killer Croc's not near sewer anyway, so he wouldn't have been able to get over there to get QRT2, so we're just going to count wait for backup as scored just on camera now, because there's no way it won't. Unless QRT2 was the first one to activate, I suppose, and he opted just to move away on purpose to not score the card, but that isn't happening. So yeah, we're just counting that as scored. Everyone who is alive and conscious for both sides has Audacity, including even Alfred this time. Recovering the juice is being put into play by organised crime and is being played on the Mafia Thug again. He deliberately ended his turn next to one of the few Batman suspect markers on the table, so there is a good chance it will actually score this turn. So Batman got the round started by using his one round, so once per game I guess, Paralyze Blow Dart gun, which you don't really see get used much. Paralyze is not a common rule in this game. He shot a dart into the back of the Roman's neck, which means he is -2 defense for the round. He can't do any actions either, so he basically just doesn't get a turn. So just flipped his Audacity marker over because he is done for the game. He moved into base-to-base with Alberto and then used Vigilante's work, efforting to remove the suspect marker that was there and to score as a result another comb through everything. So the Mafia Thug activated, and he's really going to be the last activation of worth now for organised crime, just with what they can score. He used his backpack, although he could have just used his manipulate to pick up the Batman suspect marker there, and as a result met half the criteria for recovering the juice. He then just ran down here, and the reason for doing that is as long as he lives to the end of the turn, recovering the juice will score for 3, and he's holding the loot, so he scores 6, and there's no one that can get over to him. He's hiding behind the tree, so even if they backed up, I don't think they'll be able to see him. So I'm pretty sure he's securing 6 points there, which is pretty nasty. But that's it, really, in terms of things the organised crime crew can do to score. I don't think they can even cycle their deck. We'll have a look, but I think that might be it for them. Batman crew, they don't really have anything they can do either, I think. So it's over to them. Let's see if they can do something. Looking at it, at best the Batman crew could cycle 1 card out of their hand just by using a resource for the pure purposes of getting rid of the card. Their next draw would be back to Arkham, which is for taking out the boss of the opposition. Falcone is not going down, because Batman is done for the game, and Alfred isn't doing anything to him. So there isn't really anything else he can do either, so we are just going to call it there. There's no cycling to be done for the organised crime crew either, because there's no henchmen around Falcone. That's the only way they could have used a resource, which then in turn would have helped the Batman crew, because they could cancel it with a get them off the streets played as a resource, so it wouldn't even have been worth it. So we're going to go to the end of the game there. We'll cover this cards in play and then move on to the final scores. So as we go to the final scores for the cards in play for the round, Alberto could have shot Batman. Even if he had a perfect roll and nothing missed, it would still not do enough to kill him. So there's no way to make the program score that was put on Batman, so that is out of there. But like I just mentioned, the Mafia Thug doing work over there, having the loot on him at the end of the game and meeting the criteria for recovering the juice, means he just pocketed 6 victory points, which might make all the difference. The Organised Crime definitely did not score as many cards as the Batman crew, but more of theirs was worth 3, so I think this is still everything to play for. So let's go see. So definitely some unlucky draws there for the Batman crew. They didn't get the other non-lethal ammo, they only got a snitch in round 3. So a bit disappointing in there, and that definitely made it harder for them than it would otherwise be. But anyway, don't need to make excuses yet. We don't know if they've lost. Their pile is definitely thicker. But let's go to Organised Crime first. So that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. Okay, 16 in total. Very beatable. But as I say, the Batman crew I think underperformed there. So 16 to beat. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, okay, yeah, 18, 20. Yeah, it was close. 16 plays, 20. Batman crew underperformed. Organised Crime did about as well as you would expect, honestly. Killer Croc was doing work. If the sewer markers were in slightly different places, he could have denied them 2 points by stopping wait for backup by eating QRT2. And if he'd done that, there only would have been 2 points in it, which would have been a pretty decent close game. We didn't get to see the quick response team sniper doing anything because Killer Croc ate her. So in hindsight as well, wait for backup could have been used to bring her back on the table, but by that point it was so late in the game it probably wouldn't have made a difference. Certainly not to scoring. She might have been able to kill someone, but they didn't have any kill cards. The original plan for the Batman deck was also to make use of just the 1 point kills with not getting them off the street, sorry, I'm blanking on the name, Dirty Job, but wanted a little bit of variance. Plus there's models coming out now with a rule specifically designed for that Dirty Job objective card that makes it worth 2 instead of 1. The new Red Hood has it, I think, and the new Soldiers of Fortune Vengeance, she has it as well, which makes this card worth 2, so it plays to wanting to run killy lists, i.e. lots of double blood or just sheer rate of fire, lots of guns, anything that does blood damage, just murder the opponent, which it doesn't usually focus on. So it does offer a new way to play that is pretty simple to do, because it's just kill the other people before they kill you. So I didn't want to focus too much on that this time, because we'll see that with them when they're on the table at some point in the future. On that note, thank you very much for watching. I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Please do remember to show your support, and if you'd like to go above and beyond, consider becoming a channel member or pressing the thanks button on the video you enjoyed. It helps support the channel, it's all reinvested in the channel, and helps keep this possible. Enjoy the rest of your day, and see you next time. It's time for now.